Imagine walking down a busy street, unable to hear if there are footsteps walking behind you. Imagine you're in a crowded mall. Noises are happening. There's people all around, all of talking happening around you, but you can't hear anything. Now imagine it's your child that's experiencing the world this way. How do you communicate? My name is Brenda, and I'm going to be sharing my journey as a mom who is hearing with a son who is deaf. Our journey started 9 years ago when my son Jace was 3 years old. At the age of 3, he was progressing just as any other child, speaking, laughing, all the joy. A few months into turning 3 years old, my son's speech began to regress. We no longer were hearing some of the words he had already learned and started to have more frustratedness from a previously very joyous child. I began to wonder if there were any concerns I should have for my son's speech essentially disappearing. My husband and I at the time had made the decision to go and have our son checked out and see if there was anything going on. After several doctor's visits and a doctor telling us that sometimes children take a while to start speaking, we decided to go to Children's in Dallas, and after several visits, testing, and x-rays, everything you can think of, we received the diagnosis that he is deaf. To our knowledge, we do not know how he lost his hearing or why, but we knew he was deaf, and now we move forward. It was very challenging at the time. We weren't really sure how to navigate a life where our son was deaf, just no sound. The loss of speech was very sad to see. We had to deal more with the anger and frustration because our communication was not there. He's wanting things, we don't know how to communicate, we don't know how to make these connections with him, and that's when American Sign Language was our next step in the process. I've always thought about learning. I thought it was cool. Never thought I would need to learn it. And my son was enrolled into the Deaf Regional Mesquite School, and in that community, we got to meet other parents that also had children who were hearing or non-hearing, and the children were also just like my son, with different variations of hearing. Hearing aids, no hearing aids. My son was in the process of getting surgery to get implants. But even when we came to that decision, we did not take it lightly, and we did a lot of research and found that for our family, it would be best to get him implanted. Our ENT doctor at Children's Hospital had let us know that no matter which path we chose, devices, no hearing devices, our son would be sign dependent. And it would be very important for us to learn sign language to make sure he has access to communication. After enrolling him at the Mesquite program, and we got to know everyone, we began to attend their free after-school ASL classes. And in that time, it was a very tough transition for Jace, having to go from just playing all day at home to going to school at 3 years old for 7 hours a day, learning sign language all day long. We started to see those changes. Still had a lot of challenges where we're frustrated, he's angry, he doesn't know how to explain what he wants, and then we're frustrated because we don't know how to explain that we know what he wants, but the connections weren't, they were rough. Over time, we have continued to do our part in reading books, attending classes, making flashcards, and making sure that we have a sign language home as Jace will grow up and still be sign dependent. Now brings us to today. We are now a happy 12-year-old in 7th grade. He is an amazing signer, and I'm still learning. I've actually returned to school to complete learning sign language, as it is a very complex language. And I have found that many parents don't take that time to learn sign language. And it makes me wonder about the children that don't have access to language at home and don't have necessarily family or community other than what they get at school. And I knew that on my part as Jace's parent, I was not gonna fail him. So ASL has been just prominent in our lives, and it has been the great bridge to how I communicate with my son, how I get to know him, how I know who he is. And despite all of the limitations that his deafness has given him, he exceeds that. He is beyond that. And it's an amazing communicator. He's funny, he makes jokes. Sign language has given my son a voice, and changed our lives in ways that I could have never imagined. And it's something that I feel in my heart is, I just feel so thankful to know the language and know that there's an alternative, because my son wasn't born deaf. He lost his hearing. Again, we don't know why or how, but ASL did become the alternative to make sure that we are still able to communicate with him, still able to give him access to language and to his family, and to get to make friends and know people by us learning the language, showing other family members the language, and making sure he stays on top of learning the language. And there's many things I can say about ASL, but I know that the main thing that I can say is I love it. I love that he loves it. It's been a beneficial skill for us to learn at home, and it's been what strengthens our bond as mother and son in the past 9 years, navigating this change in our life that has enriched us. And I am thankful to share the story. I'm thankful to share and very happy to share that Jace is a very, very smart, funny kid, and we owe a lot to American Sign Language. Thank you.